Initiate release sequencer. On my mark. 5.
We're on express elevator to hell. Going down.
2. 1. Mark.
Welcome back to the Resupply with me, Guy Next Door.
Me, DK.
And me, Than.
Bringing you your weekly double tap of all things Space Marines and laserforce.
And COVID, apparently.
Jesus. Still working some of that cheese down the old gullet. 10
Don't
seconds
cut
in.
yourself on a McNugget.
I can't remember if I mentioned that on chat or on a stream. I think I might have during the week, but yeah, fucking hashtag large boy issues. And when you
It's better if we just leave it as an inside joke that we don't explain to the audience.
I don't know. When you cut yourself with a chicken nugget whilst wiping Big Mac sauce off your face, maybe you need to reconsider some life choices. Hey boys, it's two of my favorite people in the world. Chicken nugget? That's not what I said.
It actually was.
I said chicken nugget.
No, your enunciation and
I don't understand your accent.
We're both fucking terrible.
Accent. Moving, just gonna sidestep all of that. Disco Stew, Bloody Legend, sub for 10 months. Thank you, brother. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, and Hoodlum as well. Extended their tier 1 subscription through June.
Not to be outdone.
Every time these lights go off, it brings me such joy. It's like a little visual dopamine hit. It's great. How are you doing, fellas? What's been going on in your worlds, your neck of the woods?
I think I'm gonna let DK go first because mine's not so fun. Well, I'll let DK go first.
Okay, I was gonna say we get the downer stuff out of the way first.
I mean, I can go first. We can get the downer stuff out of the way. I mean, maybe that does work better.
I mean, I don't know if you could top cutting yourself with a chicken nugget. That's pretty terrible.
That is definitely that's a new one.
That's a low point.
I don't know how we're ever going to top or bottom that as far as that goes.
From both ends, even.
Yeah.
Old chicken nuggets.
Yeah. So no, this is the week of getting punched in the face emotionally, because tomorrow is the day. Well, let's roll this back half a step. So the divorce decree was officially submitted today.
Wow.
Which means it'll be official, probably the 4th or 5th of next week, because it has to go into the court queue.
Next week sometime.
Yeah, next week sometimes that'll be a thing. We sold one of the cars because I'm only going to need one car. I don't need 2 sedans. And tomorrow is the day that Julie starts her trip back to Australia. So yeah, there's just all sorts of stuff going on.
Can't remember if I asked. Is she able to fly direct, or does she have to go through New Zealand or?
No, so I can't remember. No, this happened after the show last week. So originally, she was flying from DFW to Doha to Brisbane on Qatar Airways, because her family's in Brisbane. It was just going to make more sense to quarantine directly in Brisbane where you've got people that can bring you stuff out the hotel you're quarantined at.
Would be helpful.
Would be helpful, except for that whole fact that the U.S. added a whole bunch of countries to level 4 "fuck you, no travel" lists on Friday of last week, which basically meant that flight got canceled.
Rough.
Just totally gone, no longer exists, rescheduled for 2 weeks out type thing.
Got the old
yeah, not good. Oh, so, and yeah, Russ, everybody I know in India has COVID, so maybe get a good idea. Oh, don't get me wrong, Russ. Like half of our devs in India as well are also currently negatively impacted by COVID. So you're not wrong that Qatar being added to the list of level 4 don't travel countries. It wasn't a bad idea. It was just very inconvenient and yes, negatively impacted. Can't you tell that I had quarterly IT planning this week and was dealing with nothing but like senior managers and directors and executive directors?
The euphemisms, I can't handle them.
Yeah, no, all bad. That was my work week, was quarterly IT planning. So fortunately we were able to rebook her on United.
Rebook her?
But
I hardly know her. Sorry. It's that low-hanging fruit. This is so...
Stream.
Steve's brain. Just turn off, mate. It's fun.
Yeah.
Go on a standby.
Just go back to your Legos.
Yeah, so fortunately we were able to get her rebooked on United, but that has her basically going into Sydney. So now she has to quarantine in Sydney, and then basically drive up from Sydney to Brisbane because
I mean, she might okay, so that might be kind of cool because it's a nice way to see your homeland again, but also maybe not after you've been traveling and quarantined for fucking ages.
Maybe not.
Yeah, it's not exactly a vacation.
Yeah,
I would be a little road ragey at that point, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's apparently like a 10.5-hour drive from Sydney to Brisbane, and she's gonna do it over a couple of days just to kind of because it's like I'm gonna have been in quarantine for 2 freaking weeks, and Australia is not fucking around with their quarantine. Like the procedure that they've got where it's like plane lands, police get on plane. Police give you, the speech of if you fuck up, the fines are enormous. Police escort you through customs. You get on a bus. You get taken to the hotel. The police are running the hotel basically. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of it's like an $11,000 fine or something if you attempt to break quarantine while you're.
And they have kangaroos armed with spiders that will attack you if you attempt to break out.
Yeah, except for the generals who are crocodiles.
Yeah, you don't want to fuck with those guys.
That spit snakes.
No, those are their sappers.
The sappers.
Yeah, so it's
still sappers in US schools.
US
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Oh, Dad.
I would say too soon, but not soon enough, really.
Yeah. So there's been so there was that whole drama, and we've gone out to dinner a couple times with various friends this week, and actually one of the questions like both of us keep getting from different sources is like, wait a minute, you're still going out to dinner with people with each other? And it's like, well, yeah, we don't hate
You're
each other.
You're not trying to murder each other? What?
There's no there's no hatred or anything at the end of this relationship. It's just
amicable divorce, unheard of.
I mean, apparently it is. Apparently, it is a very extraordinarily rare thing.
It's not the usual.
Yeah, I'd imagine like the whole betrayal thing, like that ends a lot of marriages. That is reason to kind of have hostility towards somebody. So yeah, if like you said, the way you said it ran its course. So there's no hostility, it just is what it is.
Yeah, so it's so her friends have been like, how really you're managing to do this? And it's yes, because we're relatively semi-well-adjusted adults. Ish.
Ish.
Semi well-adjusted.
That was a great list of qualifiers.
Yeah. Now, having said that, next therapy appointment is Tuesday, and I'm sure there won't be anything that I'll need to discuss during that appointment at all. I'm sure there won't be any tears. I'm sure I won't break down at least once during it.
Therapist is like, how has this week negatively impacted you?
Yeah, pretty much. So that's kind of where my week has been. Like, so there's just been that kind of escalating stress level just because on top of this week, literally, with it being my quarterly IT planning, it's this is my most stressful week of the quarter. It's also why I earn my money. Let's call that for what it is. Yeah.
They get paid.
And then some stuff with the house that's currently being built that I'm closing on in like 2.5 weeks. Got the appraisal back for it, and did you know that my name is Sagit Bagura? Apparently, somebody screwed up with putting information into the appraisal for who the actual customer is, because the customer is obviously me. Nope.
Yeah, Sagit from Street Fighter.
Yeah, totally. So that's
I'm
the
just
thing.
imagining it's like an anagram of Chris Grusha that's just like all the letters are jumbled up.
Hey, man.
Not even close.
Dyslexia is the thing.
Not even close. So I got the notification like, hey, you have documents. Okay, cool. Let's go look at them. Oh, cool. Appraisal. Who is this person? So I had to email the loan processor and be like, the fuck?
Hey, Sagit, my friend. Long time.
So that was just kind of, this was like, really, this is a thing right now. Okay, fine.
It's not the thing you want to be dealing with.
Well, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it is comparatively minor. That's a go back. Hey, you guys fucked up. Change the name on this. Send us the updated thing with the correct name on it. It's not not huge.
Well, how about you change your name? How does that sound?
Yeah.
But there was like no part of signing documents related to purchasing a property that didn't give me ulcers, so I could certainly sympathize on that.
So this is, and I don't say this to sound like a complete jerk, even though I know it's going to come off that way. This is house number 4 that I've bought. The process doesn't.
Okay, boomer.
Doesn't scare me / bother me / anything at this point. Like, it's the process is not all that difficult generally. So this coming up is just kind of like, yeah, just go fix that. It'll be fine. As opposed to, I'm sure if it was house number 1, I'd be freaking the fuck out, going, "Oh my god, this documentation, this doesn't match. What the fuck is this? Why is this?"
I knew I wasn't approved for that loan. Why would anyone give me money?
Oh, you're not Sagit. Oh, we're gonna have to have a sit down, I think.
Yeah. So just little stuff like that. It's kind of like, really, just kind of one more thing on it, but yeah, feels very weird to only have one car in the garage right now, because there have been 2 cars in the garage literally for the last 17 years.
Make one out of boxes,
yeah.
And put it next to it.
Nah, I think we'll pass on that.
Make a fort. You should build a fort.
I have enough boxes to do that.
Excellent.
Because I have moving boxes. Yeah. Stallion in chat. Car per person in the house. America. Hey.
Sometimes more than one. Sometimes more than one.
Yeah, this is my weekend car.
we had 2 people in the house. We needed 2 cars.
I mean,
That's
I can
just
relate.
the
We
way
have
that
2
works.
cars.
And 18 guns,
No, I haven't. I haven't
as
gone
is
that
legally
Tex-
mandated by Texas.
Yeah, this
I
is my
haven't gone
weekend
that-
gun.
Haven't gone that Texas yet. Have not gone that Texan yet.
There are 6 cars at your house for 4 drivers. That seems excessive, Russ.
That's kind of awesome.
Already,
actually.
already bought Andy a car, have you?
Also, how are you still getting ads when you watch our show? That seems weird to me. You know,
Yeah, didn't,
pay your friends the monies, man. You fucking cheapskate. No.
It'd be a real shame if you had to watch some ads.
I've gone full Twitch e-girl. Like, oh my god, only $5. Make sure you pay us the money. It's only $5. You have 4 cars. Oh.
Peer pressure. Good
Wow.
job.
Thank you very much for that sub. Appreciate it.
I'm so glad that you cyberbullied one of your subscribers into mashing a button.
Bro, this is how it works. You wait till we start getting heaps of merch on the go. I'm gonna visit everyone's house
Oh, I
and be
read
like,
about this. It's called negging. It's amazing.
that all sounds quite brutal, dude. And it's probably gonna get a little bit worse over the next little while.
Yeah, no, I'm fully expecting. I'm fully expecting really the next month to just suck. And I know you hate this expression, the smelliest of dicks, but I think it's appropriate in this case for me to use that expression you hate so much, Steve-O.
I need a hotkey that just mutes both of you. That's what I need. Yeah.
Me, what I do?
Ah, association. I see you down there hanging out, scheming. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna say it too. Nah, just jokes.
Although I did just get a text message saying, "Hey, you're scheduled for your second COVID vaccine dose," so that's cool.
Oh, dope. That's
So,
something
looks like
I need to look into actually.
so it looks like that's
They
next
just did it
Saturday.
automatically when I got mine. They're just like, okay, here's your shot, and we are scheduling you for exactly 4 weeks from today.
Right.
Don't miss it.
Yeah, this will literally be 3 weeks from when I had my first one, so that's that.
So you got
works
the
out.
Pfizer then.
Yeah,
That's alright, bro. That was just jokes. Just jokes, Maddie. Just jokes. Yeah, but you got your jabs? That's dope. I suppose
nice, bro.
service people, right? Or, military service people. Probably high on the list of needed to get that. Oh, Maddie, what's up? You got your second dose yesterday? Dope. I'm very glad.
Stallion has his next week. Sweet.
Yeah, I need to. So, no, I'm not even gonna ask here because we have a thing called the internet, kids. If you want to know things, go ask our mate Uncle Google. He'll sort you out.
Maybe.
Maybe.
If you can sift through the bullshit.
That's true. Good morning, Jojo.
That's accurate.
Or good evening to you. Nice to see you. Yeah, well, so the reason I bring it up... Oh, sorry, my friend. Was there anything else that you wanted to say?
I don't know. I think that was plenty.
I feel bad,
as far as that goes.
throwing a segue in. Because, it almost sounds like it's dismissive, and it's truly not. Because, we all love you, and we hope that you're okay. But also, professional and stuff.
Yeah.
Segue. So, speaking of getting vaccinated, I bought my tickets this week to Brisbane. I'm going to Brisbane in July to see my family. And whilst we are there, we are going to do a couple of streams with Gray. We're going to do Thunderdome Live, probably from Netherworld Bar in Brisbane, which is basically an arcade for adults. It's great.
Nice.
And we'll probably do something with Gibbo and V, so that should be cool. Bloody crossovers all over the place. It hasn't been live before. I mean, like we'll be in the same place together. We'll be doing
Face.
like playing pinball and stuff like that. Pinball. And then tickets to PAX will get done this week, I think. Well, sorry, flights to Melbourne for PAX. So
Nice.
I've also built in some laserforce leeway.
As you do.
For both trips, yeah. So Glader, I'll be, I think, the Monday the 20th or the 19th of July, whichever one it is. I'll be coming along to get my ass beat by people that play
Clean up
Laser
after
Force.
yourself.
No way, you gotta pay extra. And then
Bring that
same
warm towel.
same thing with Melbourne. So hopefully we can get a bit of a crew for Melbourne. That'll be nice. I also, in the quest for ever improving the content that we produce, I bought this bad boy. This will hopefully give us the ability to take this shit on the road and do some mobile
A
streams.
5-sided dildo. Congratulations.
Exactly what it looks like.
That is, yeah.
DK, it's ribbed for your pleasure. So
They call it the starfish.
yeah, man, if I get cut by a chicken nugget, I'm very worried about what that thing's gonna do. But yeah, that arrived this week, so we'll be taking the show on the road, which will be cool. Yeah, that's basically what's been happening. Oh, and also, this bad boy arrived, my Blue Sin coffee mug. So I'm very happy.
That's actually pretty awesome. I'm not
It's a
gonna lie.
burb.
It's a burb. At least it's not the chocolate starfish.
It could be.
If you want your very own Blue Sin coffee mug, yeah, thank you very much, Matt. Head to Blue Sin's Twitch channel. You can order it from there. I'm in the process of designing some stuff for us because I want to do a water sucks coffee mug. Because I think that'd be kind of cool. So, well, yeah, it's on the list. It's on the list of many, many things to do. What have you been up to, DK? Ah, cheers, Russ.
In an effort to start ramping up the training for Syracuse and whatnot, I'm trying to hit the bike for like 10 miles a day or so. 16 kilometers for you international listeners and watchers. Like that. Fake training for fake nat. That's exactly what it is. Which has been going pretty well, except for the other day. I, of course, was trying to be smart and like change gears going uphill like you're supposed to make it easier for yourself. But I very rarely change my bike gears, and so I was just doing stuff a little too fast. So my chain just went and just came right off.
I hate that noise.
Shit. Yeah, that's exactly the noise the chain makes, right?
Yeah. Oh, sorry,
So I'm
bike.
just like standing there on the side of the road, literally at one of the exact same points where I've seen a rattlesnake on previous days. So I'm just like, this is a good place to stop and like fix my bike and whatnot. And I was like, I haven't gone too far. If I have to walk home, it's not the end of the world. But I was able to hook the chain like back on and just had my hands covered with grease for like the rest of the ride, which was fine, except bringing my activity level back up. I think I've got like a case of, it's probably just like a little bit of knee tendonitis or something like that, probably because I've been overworking my quads, and so my knee connection is not real great. But like I had first noticed it, of course, exercise, no problem. Getting into and out of bed, big problem. Knee does not like that very much at all.
Got
a serious case
of the old.
So now I'm like, I'll have to like fall back into bed so I don't like put my knee down, or I only have to step with one leg and not put any weight on the other one. But
You gotta
let me tell you something, bro. It doesn't get any better.
No, because speaking of things that you look up on Google, don't Google knee pain because WebMD will just scare the shit out of you. Because I was fully convinced. I'm like, well, fuck, definitely have a torn meniscus. That's going to require surgery. Might have to like postpone that until after Nats. I don't know how much pain it's going to be. I'm like, no, relax, dude. It's not that bad. I can still put weight on it. I'm sure the injury's not that severe. It's just a little swollen, probably.
I get the impression, or like the visuals in my head of you going to get out of bed in the morning, and your knees just like
Exactly.
rub some dirt on it. So I did the same thing. I went to Google and Googled my knee pain after like it's blown out a couple of times, and it's like, yep, that's a MCL. You're fucked, mate. Enjoy your surgery.
Exactly what it says.
Yeah.
You're fucked, mate.
We went ice skating and like had a moment where it was just like bink or like ouch, which like being on ice and that having that happen to you really sucks. Yeah. It's fucking awful.
This is one of the reasons I have never bothered trying ice skating. I mean, there's so many reasons. I mean, you have, essentially you have, big knives on your feet. That just trips me the fuck out. And it's like, no, we're not doing this. But I have literally no faith that my ankles and or knees and or hips at this point are going to deal with.
If you were a German Shepherd, I would have put you down already. That's I'm just saying. No, I wouldn't. That's terrible. What a terrible thing to say.
I got dark. Jesus.
Yeah. Well, look. To lighten the mood, I don't think we talked about it. Did we play D&D last week, DK? Was that our last session? If you missed it, the VOD's still up. If you want to go check out
it's still up and erroneously labeled Resupply episode 103.
Stupid Twitch making me look like an idiot. But
Twitch, you don't need any help with that. It's true.
Well, yeah, like again, just chicken nuggins. The reason I bring it up is because about halfway through the stream, if you're scared of ice skating blades, don't look up Clint Malachuk. Ooh.
I think that's a hockey player that got his throat cut with
I think I heard about that.
I know the event happened. I can't remember the name, but that's the one. Okay, yeah. So.
But yeah, so the reason I bring it up was we stopped about halfway through to watch the first live performance of the Jet Noise, which is a different band, a new band.
Yeah, fuck
totally.
that Dutch guy.
Yeah, yuck. I gotta say, the lyrics of some of the Jet Noise tracks really cracked me up, and also made me a little uncomfortable. So well done. You elicited an emotional response from this guy.
Yeah, no, Matt's the one who's writing all the music and lyrics right now, and yeah, there's definitely some. We've gotten some feedback from various different people about one of the songs, and it's like,
what's that song called?
It's called Dad.
There we go.
Yeah, no, it's
yep, definitely not gonna be heavy issues there.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, enjoyed the stream and the setup. I don't know whether to say at the time, but yeah, like the vocals blew out a little, but otherwise, the setup was dope. Like the angles, the camera changes, like everything was really cool. Looked really dope. So well done.
It was originally just going to be a single camera shoot.
That top down one.
And the top down one. And then one of our friends, Matt's friends, who's now one of my friends, whatever, was like, "Hey, I bought these 3 other cameras and this powered hub. I want to do some testing. Do you mind if I turn this into a 4-camera shoot?" And we're like, "Nope."
That's dope.
Yeah, so he did that and was doing all the camera switching and everything. So it ended up looking visually very interesting, as opposed to, oh, here's your one camera.
It was really cool.
And honestly, I mean, I guess they should have gone into my weekly recap, because this was something that happened in the last week. Fuck, a lot of shit's happened this week.
It's a pretty busy week.
It's been busy, but it was so fucking good to finally play music for people again. Like even though our studio audience was 2 people, knowing that there were tens of people watching us across the world, across the internet, and I know it was literally tens because Facebook was like, you've got like 20 odd people watching you, and I know with it being rebroadcasted, there would have been more. It was like, okay, but it was like, cool. So we're finally getting to do something again, and both Matt and I will be fully vaccinated. Well, I think he already is fully vaccinated. Mine will be is now next Saturday. So we'll start being able to actually look at really playing in-person shows, which are starting to happen, which is awesome.
And like so obviously I have a more of a vested interest in watching you perform personally. You were killing it, man. Like, you look comfortable, you sounded tight. Like, yeah, it was heartwarming to watch you do your thing.
Yeah, the lead vocals, what happened, we did actually figure out what happened there. The mixing board, the fader on it got pushed up by mistake. So we had the levels all correct, and then it got bumped. And
yeah.
So his vocals were clipping out a little bit, and my talking mic was not up high enough, but that was kind of a function of how the inputs were set up. But yeah, it felt really, really good to actually play some fucking music. And the link that's in chat, I mean, that's obviously for the previous stuff. We don't have anything that is recorded to a level that is going to be put out yet.
Yeah.
There's definitely well, we just need to write some more stuff before we do that, but it's on the list.
So also, speaking of live music performances, one of the boys that is part of our streaming community, Frosthammer NZ, plays guitar for a band called Empire, and they played a show just before we went live. There's a link in the Discord if you want to go back and watch the show. I highly recommend doing it because they sound freaking sweet. If you like a bit of metal, you might dig them. So well done, Tim from Empire. It was a great show. The last thing I want to talk about before we actually talk about laserforce related stuff. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna save that. We'll save that for later. I'll flesh that idea out a little more, and then we'll talk about it later. So, as some of you might know, we sometimes talk about laserforce on this laserforce related podcast. And
laserforce, never heard of it.
If you haven't heard of laserforce, it's a great game. Google it and it'll say you have a meniscus tear and that you need to go in for surgery. Just search for head to our Discord or go to one of the many websites / Facebook pages dedicated to laserforce as a laser tag brand. But there's been talks over the last couple of weeks about the upcoming US fake nets. But we talked last week about how basically about the Syracuse one. We were going to talk this week about alternative game formats, I think.
Yeah, because there was a little bit of discussion that we had on the last stream about, well, for this 2-day event, is it strictly going to be Space Marines, or are we open to playing something else? And I haven't put out the question to the community at large yet, because I mean, I guess I'll just say my concern now. My concern is that and everybody has commented on this for member nights and stuff like this.
Mm.
There is a contingent of players that it's like, oh, we're not playing Space Marines. Don't really want to play.
Yeah.
Don't really feel like it. Stuff like that. So my concern is I don't want there to be a situation that arises where attendance for the 2-day event is actually lower if we're going to play something that's not SM5. Because I think most everybody who would play an alternative format would still play SM5 random draw. But I'm not sure that it goes the other direction. There are some people who probably want to play SM5 random draw, but might not be down to play some alternative games. But that said, there are still things that you can do other than Space Marines 5, and that is still a possibility. So I thought we would at least explore what some of those alternatives might be, and maybe then people would consider it if we ended up doing something slightly different. So
back in the
once upon a time, go for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say back in the early days, the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. This used to happen at nationals. I think it possibly because we hadn't quite merged the two scenes together yet, the Australasian scene and the US scene. So there was less teams usually involved in that. It's usually 5 to 6 teams.
Yeah, I was gonna say then like 6 teams would be like a large turnout for a tournament.
And we were getting 6 down here, but
the Newcastle the Nats in Newcastle in '99 with 6 teams at that point was the largest Australian tournament that Laserforce had. And that was that 16 max. I mean, that 16 basically was the max for a lot of years. And
that seemed to be
4 and 5.
You could usually get 2 home site teams, and then at least back then it was Wellington, Brisbane, Oakley, and at some points Ballarat. At least, sorry, I'm talking the early 2000s when I was playing, when I first started playing. So yeah, and due to there not being as many teams, you had a little bit more leeway with how long you had to play for during the day, and also what you could do before or after the actual Space Marines tournament. Usually.
Yeah, so with that leeway, there were some other games that were played. Usually there was an individual comp that I think, Than, you actually had the privilege to play, or at least observe when you went to Newcastle in '99.
Oh, I had the pleasure of getting fucking wrecked in Newcastle.
Good. I wanted to let you tell the story. I didn't want to speak for you and tell everybody how you got wrecked, but
I got wrecked so hard.
So we were drinking tequila. Yeah, no.
Nah, I mean, let's put it this way. I definitely had an overinflated sense of how good I was based on reality. Because, in Sacramento, I was really good.
Was your ego writing checks your body couldn't cash there, Maverick?
Bruh. Yes. Yeah. And as Stallion just put in chat, part of that was the wait, there are rules revelation, because I know we have mentioned this repeatedly on this pod before. We had no fucking clue that there were this show a shoulder rule. Who the fuck knew? And so that engendered some challenges, and so during the Masters comp, after I'd been smacked about the head and neck area multiple times, like, no, this is how you have to play. So that it didn't go well. I think we had like, it was either 16 or 18 people that played in the Masters, and I finished like 13th or 14th.
Not last,
but there were definitely better players than me that did not play the Masters, because they were like basically like only so many per site type thing, so that everybody could have representation, as it were.
Well, and part of that was the challenge of how long that would take, because explain to everybody the format of how Masters used to be run.
I mean, so basically, you would play one game in each suit. So 7.5 minute games, one game in each suit. If you've got 18 people playing, well, you got 18 games to get through, which is
That's grueling, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you're not taking breaks with it, and you got your cycle times between games. I mean, you're looking at like a minimum of 3 hours essentially nonstop if you take no breaks. And then, I mean, that's obviously assuming efficiency and stuff like that. It's really closer to, it's really going to be closer to 4 to 5 hours, and it's still basically, so it's still going to be relatively nonstop.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically like almost a whole day event that you're going to have just for that one competition. Maybe not a full day, but that's definitely not a day you can count on getting through a lot of other tournament stuff, most likely.
No. And like Stallion makes point in chat, at least Newcastle was a single level arena, so there wasn't any ramping having to happen. So, yay for not having to run ramps for 3 hours. But it was definitely it was definitely a time. I'm trying to think the last time a Masters comp got run at a Nationals, and I feel like it was 2001
Well, we had one
Brisbane.
in 2002 in Sugarland, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but that wasn't run the same way. It was run stupidly.
Not the same way. No.
It was run just terabad, and fucking Jeff let random people that had never played laser tag before play in that tournament as general public people, and it was fucking stupid.
Yeah, so, I don't think I actually ended up playing that one as a result. Also, maybe I was trying to like talk you down from being in a bad place. I don't remember. I remember not playing that event in 2002. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well, it was not a good week for me. Happens a lot. I'm noticing.
Auckland 2002.
Yeah, I remember being told that they ran a Masters that year, and like didn't Rusty like dislocate his shoulder or something? That was back in the days when he used to play in his boxer shorts. But yeah, that was prior to me playing, so.
Fair enough. But okay. So 2002 in Auckland, there was a Masters that may very well be the last one that got run, because I don't remember there being one in 2005 in Brisbane.
Nah, I've never been a part of a Nats where they've run one.
Well, then 2002 probably was the last one then.
Yeah, and it's probably because around that kind of time, I don't know, we started, like, I know that there were a bunch of people that started traveling from Auckland to Australia to play. So I don't know, maybe people had started then to be like, well, if it ain't Space Marines, I'm not interested. But I don't know. But it happens.
Yeah, and I mean, a solo comp is fun. I don't know. I don't necessarily know that a solo comp in Laserforce really adequately, shows the system off to its best extent.
Well, laser tag is laser tag in its basic sense, right? Like, you could play laser tag on any number of systems.
Bro, are we about to fight right now?
It's possible. Let him finish.
So like at its core, like, run in and shoot someone with a laser gun and they get deactivated. There's a bunch of different things that do that. But for Force, the ability to missile and have other game types like Space Fire, Space 4, D&D, like, that's what sets that system apart from all of the others, in my very uneducated opinion on the matter. Yeah, back in the day, it was the easiest way to determine the best player. Yeah, and that's like the best laser tag player, right? But I don't know. Space Marines is more. Space Marines is more than just laser tag.
It's life.
It's life. It's a way of life. But anyway, I think did we digress from
Don't we?
Not necessarily. I just
Don't we
think that's
always?
an interesting kind of idea of you play one game in each suit. Now, obviously, if you have too many players, that no longer becomes practical because there is a finite number of hours in the day, and you can't be playing like 45 games or something like that if you have some massive number of players. But it does kind of cut out the argument of, oh, well, that game didn't go well because my suit was shit.
Yeah.
Okay, well, everybody's going to have their time in the well, so to speak. So, you just kind of do that and move on. So it's at least a way of kind of like trying to account for subtle differences between the suits. Although the differences were sometimes not so subtle back in the day for people who are used to, your pristine Gen 8 vests that don't fuck up at any point.
You recall masters being kept on player numbers?
Yeah,
Probably
that was definitely a thing where, for a site like Newcastle where they actually had to bring extra suits down from Brisbane so that we could play the comp, because I can't remember I think that was a 12 suit site on its own, and so they brought down like 6 more, so there'd be spares. So
not much room for error if you're playing Space Marines in that format.
So that's why I can't remember if it was 16 or 18 players. I can't remember if there were suits left spare or if we just like cycled them all. But I mean, for anything, you definitely have to cap that at a certain point, because otherwise again, 18 players, you're looking at a minimum of 3 hours, probably closer to 4 and a half, and every person you add, just makes that a little bit longer. So how much more do you want to deal with that? And then Ducky makes a good point as well, is that if you're not playing that comp, you're just like meh. You're just kind of waiting. Now, granted, you're always relatively waiting during a Space 5 tournament as well.
Fair.
But it seems less so, because that at some point you are definitely either going to have to go ref or you're going to have to go play. Like, you have a definite, I'm going to do a thing. It's at some point, as opposed to, this is just a dead day for me because I'm not doing this comp.
Welcome, Killer Hannah, to the stream. Very quick note: absolutely loved the Empire stream. The show was excellent. The setup was amazing. The voice sounded really good. Diego killed. That guy Tim from Empire was pretty awesome. The boys did really good. It was a great show. It's you're right. Like, there's always an element of like sitting around waiting for your turn to play. I can only imagine that. Like, if you weren't playing in a Masters tournament, you might be inclined not to be down at the site. And I suppose that's kind of the thought process, right, for this upcoming tournament. Like, if there are people who aren't keen to play, a Masters or whatever, the likelihood is that they'll just go do something else that doesn't involve, hanging out with the community, which is fine. But I don't know, safer communities together, always blow on the pie.
Yeah. So there's a question of whether or not there is interest in that kind of thing. It wasn't really my primary choice, though, for a side event to run, but we can get into that momentarily. So I was also going to mention that we did used to run individual comps, I felt like, relatively regularly in the early days of Sacramento. We had
Yeah.
both Masters tournaments and we had Highlander tournaments. I think were even more frequent. We probably had, I don't know, like maybe 8 to 12 Highlander tournaments over the first few years.
Yep.
Sound about right to you, Than?
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those we used to run, not everybody playing one game in each of the suits, but it was essentially like a double elimination format where like the top half in each game would advance to the winner's bracket, the bottom half would drop in the loser's bracket, and you would just eliminate, some chunk of the field each time. And I think basically you had to like be in the winner's bracket like 3 times or something like that before the final set of games. And then it was just, all right, well, in that final game, whatever the rankings are, whatever the seedings are, that's the position in the tournament, which is an interesting way to do. It was a way we usually got stuff done in a single night, because I don't think that was ever more than, what, like 9 or 10 games, something like that.
No. It was basically structured at that point so we could run it on gap nights between leagues. That was basically what that turned into. You'd finish up a league season. You've got this couple week gap before the new season starts. Well, hey, everybody's already trained to turn up on this night anyway. Let's do a Highlander tournament, and if there's time, some socials aside from that, but let's do a thing. So maybe, that was,
maybe that's
pretty much how that was.
A good way as well to like, because I think maybe potentially a lot of sites have moved away from doing it. There might be a good way to like bring numbers up in your members base if you have like, a once a month individual tournament at your site on like a Thursday night or something. That's during the week still, but potentially a night that people are more open to heading out and doing some social thing. But that might be something worthwhile for owners to kind of bring back and start doing again. Not the hardest laser tag game ever. For newer players, but getting people in the habit of turning up every week or on a regular basis, and playing something that's not a standard, or just standard plus.
Well, that's why I liked in the early years of SAC. That was basically what I think it was Thursday nights were like the alternative game format night. That it was not Space Marines, but it was. If you remember, and there were certain kinds of games that were discounted on Thursdays, and it would be different games, different weeks. Like this week it's Time Warp, and this week it's Gladiator, and this week it's Highlander. And that was, really cool for learning a lot of the games when I first started going. I basically, after I got my membership, I was going like every Thursday because I'm like, what is this new game? I don't know this new game. This is cool. Let's try something different. And then you would go to like a lock-in or something like that, and you would play all the games in the catalog, like Stallion's saying. And you'd learn other things, and then you'd get ready for Space Marines.
Nate just rocks in with the gift subs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gift subs. Thank you very much, my friend. Boy, I love those lights. They're dope.
One of my, I think, favorite non-Space Marines comps that we ran in SAC back in the day was like a 3-person team Gladiator tournament. That was a really interesting kind of format. I think we were running like, it might have been 6 or 7 teams all in the arena at once, like 6 or 7 teams of 3. But you had to put together a team of 3 to play Gladiator. And that actually was a pretty fun tournament, as I recall, just because it was something totally different. It was not something that we had been used to doing. So
Gladiator
every now and then you gotta change it up.
It was totally different, and because of the if I remember right, because of the natural handicapping that's built into Gladiator, I can't remember if we still set a level cap on that, or if there was just an employee cap per team.
That might be it. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was an employee cap rather than a level cap, because Gladiators as a level 6, it's a hard game. You don't start with that many lives, and it's hard to get them back.
I think it's the originals on it. It's went from starting with 30 as a 1 down to 15 as a 6. Whether they've changed that in the
Was it
interim.
15? I felt like it was even less than that.
No,
Maybe
it's
it was
15.
15.
It was 15. You
But
should
yeah,
really
30
just
versus
trust me.
15 is a big difference.
Your camera looks weird. Nate, we're doing pretty fantastic, my friend. I hope you are as well. If you missed it, go check out the Empire stream. It was fucking cool. Yeah. So, like that sort of stuff is like really fun social hangs that is more than just turning up on the weekend and playing with the birthday parties.
For sure.
But doesn't have the same kind of stress as Space Marines.
Yeah, especially a full Space Marines comp, because I mean, having played a bunch of social games in St. George as we did not that long ago, then there's definitely a difference between, hey, we're all just here to fuck around and have a good time, versus like a serious Space Marines 5 comp that you have actual ambitions of, even if not winning, like finishing top 3 is like way more intense. A level of intensity applied to laser tag that is baffling to most members of the non-laser tag community when I try to explain it to them.
And baffling to some people of the laser tag community as well.
Also that.
Let's call that
but
for
hey,
what it is.
Filthy casuals.
Yeah. Do you even play Space Marines? So, I mean, in terms of the game modes, what, like, as in alternative ones that are options, what's your... Do you have, like, an order of what you would run, or just, like, a few that you think would be good?
So, I had the idea. I mean, we talked a little bit about D&D last time, but I think doing a full 2-day D&D comp might get a little old. So, what I was kind of thinking of was a mixed game competition, where you'd keep your same team. I was thinking 4-person teams, because there are several games, not SM5, that have 4 roles. Specifically D&D, SM4, and then I was kind of thinking about like using the Z game, the Zone emulator, as like another 4-person team game that you could go for. Either that or Gladiator as another alternative. But I'm like, if you're playing D&D, like Gladiator is a less complex D&D essentially, which in some ways is also kind of interesting, because you don't have like the whole leveling thing. It's really just about team communication and can you kill the other teams. I mean, I would love Photon, but most people do not share my love of Photon. So I'm like, Z game is kind of like a happy medium.
Yeah.
But I actually don't hate playing the Zone game as long as you're using laserforce hardware. Using the Zone hardware, not so good. Yes, I agree, Ducky. Bring on Photon.
Yeah, Photon's amazing, and people who don't like Photon, go
heretics.
to hell.
Just
heretics.
Fuck all
We
of
will
you.
purge the heretics.
At some point, when people come down to play, I want to bust out my Photon home set and see if it actually works. I think that'd be really cool. Maybe we'll take that down to lasers and play Photon with that. It comes with the helmets and shit. It's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm down for that, Steve.
Excellent. Me and you.
When I come down, I'm down for that.
But yeah, so sorry, you were saying DK?
Yeah, so those would all be games where you could have 3 teams of 4 in the arena at a time. So you'd get more games in, get them through the cycle quicker, and you'd play a few different game formats. I think it could be interesting. But again, I don't know if it's going to be as interesting to people as playing SM5. And if you've already done sort of the site-based comp for 3 days, maybe people want to mix things up, play random draw, mix up the teams in between people from different sites they don't usually play with. Although at this point we've done a lot of random draws, so probably people have played together, maybe once or twice. So yeah, either way, it would be fun for me because I don't get to play laser tag very often. I'm never going to turn down the chance to play SM5. I think that's always probably the most fun, but I don't dislike the other game formats, and I think there is something to playing other games in Space Marines.
Random draw, random game. Al's mystery game. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, those were the other options that I was considering as well. So we could do something like the 3-person teams like you guys ran for your multi-center tournament. And I actually had meant to message you about getting the exact like algorithm for how it is that you set up the schedule and broke things down and all that.
That's a question for Greg.
Okay. Yeah. Or the version that Al last ran in, what was it, like 2010, where there was the individual Space Marines comp, where essentially it was like you played on a team, but you mixed teams every game, and you basically carried your team's score as the individual comp goes forward. So your score is your team's score, and your team is going to change every time. But the better that you do and the better your team does, the better it is for you as an individual.
Right.
So I'd have to look at that also. But those are other options.
That one becomes harder if you end up just playing, resupply a lot.
I mean, it is, but again, because it's your team's score, it's not your score.
Yeah. That's kind of what the MVP points were supposed to be for, though, right? Like, MVP is almost a individual achievement indicator. So you could run.
We're trying. We're trying
Yeah.
to take it that anyway.
Yeah.
It's still not perfect, but I think we're getting better.
Yeah.
It's measuring certain things. Like if you look at the metrics and stuff like that, in general, I would say if you look at most sites that have enough data, there is enough of a correlation between the people who are consistently scoring very high in MVP points and who I think consensus would label as the best players. Is it going to happen every single game? No. It is something that's very much in the aggregate, but it's like a lot of other advanced statistics you have for games like baseball or basketball or stuff like that. It's like, well, are these stats perfect? No. But if we look at who are the top 25 people, is that pretty similar to probably the list that people would say that these are the best people who play this particular sport? Maybe you would quibble that, oh, this guy should be number 4 instead of number 6, and this person is probably, underrated because of certain things in their stats. But still, obviously, they're ranked highly enough. They're considered a very good player.
Yeah. I haven't been on the stats website in so long. We have not played in a long time. Yeah, start of April. Start of April. I mean, look, I've been trying, and we'll play. People just need to. Sometimes you need to stay away from the thing that you really love, and then to get an appreciation for how much you really love the thing that you stayed away from. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Because
I said as I clutched my Gen 8 vest in St. George, quietly sobbing to myself.
He did. It was very kind of disturbing. I had to give him
Tender
a tender moment to himself as he carried it into their briefing room. Was like, oh my god!
I thought I was alone. I had to take it upstairs. I thought the second deck was off limits.
I mean, they spray these suits down anyway, right? So we, as you may know, I've been doing a bit of Lego streaming, building Lego stuff on stream. And one thing somebody mentioned, I can't remember who it was, but somebody mentioned about we should figure out how to build a Gen 8 phaser from Lego and create that as a set. So if there's anyone out there that's good at designing Lego builds, because I could pay for someone to do it, but I don't want to do that. I'd rather somebody do it for free.
My imagination.
Well, so I have tried briefly, because I had some Russ put a tool in Discord, brick build or something, and I had to play with that. It's a really cool program, but like immediately was just like it's too hard. I don't know how to do it. But so yeah, somebody who's more skilled and cleverer than me could do that, and then send me the build. I'll go shopping for parts and I'll build that on stream. It'll be kind of fun.
Back in the day, we used to have to count our shots and lives in Space Marines and use our imaginations to play with Legos. You kids got it too easy now.
Hey, look, I'm not that creative, all right? TV's ruined my imagination. But yeah, so what would your preference be in terms of like side game? Do you have one?
Not one in particular. That's why I would suggest like a mixed game format. Like if it's not Space Marines 5, I don't know that there is another single game that I would want to play for like a whole 2-day comp the way that I would for Space Marines, other than maybe Photon. Even that might get a little left for 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days of Photon, rough. When they said get a room, they didn't mean the briefing room. Funny. D&D. D&D's where it's at. I could play D&D for 2 days in a comp. It'd be wicked. Well, maybe. So, playing D&D away from home is actually a real trip. Because in my arena, I play D&D relatively well. I get good scores, play good. But, like, watching some of our game's, like, greatest players makes me understand that, much like you, Than, way down the list. way down there. And it is a little bit like of a shock when you realize that, hey, you're the big fish in your little pond. Wait till you get out to the big pond and see just how big the fish are there.
Yeah, they go.
Yeah, they cast Spirit Link on your ass before you've even leveled up.
The heck can launch you.
Launch you. Yeah, I remember playing in Sacramento and being like, this is brutal. Especially as like a mage, because like my dumbass was like, oh yeah, I'll just like run over to castles or like the balcony or whatever and just go kill them over there. And you get stuck in the middle. Anyone that goes into the middle of the Sacramento arena upstairs gets dominated immediately. Like, don't be in the middle.
Difficult.
Yeah.
Got dominated immediately.
Yes.
Unfortunately, past tense.
Yeah, past tense.
Yeah, we ended up with a lot of... There were probably an equal number of very one-sided D&D games in Sac Arena, but then there were a number of very good ones, too, that just got to be good competitions that evolved as the game went on. I think it was probably better when we had 5 or 6 aside. A lot of the lopsided games were when we only had like 3 or 4 to a side. But that's because we were usually playing D&D when we didn't have enough for SM5, except in the brief period around like 2001, 2002, when D&D was relatively new and shiny, and we wanted to play it all the time. And we were probably playing at least as much D&D as SM5.
Oh no. We were playing substantially more D&D than SM5.
Yeah.
When D&D was initially released, our standard members nights would literally be about between 6 and 8 games of D&D and 1 game of Space 5 at the end of the night. Like that was what we were doing for multiple months.
I guess it's just been a long time.
It has been a long time. That is accurate. It's been a long time. You're very old.
We did play it a lot, though. You're definitely right.
Yeah. We did the same thing in the early 2000s. Like, Auckland predominantly played D&D. And we'd play... we had a 15-minute game mode, a 20, and a 30-minute game mode. And we were playing, like, 8 to 10 aside D&D 20-minute games. And it was dumb. Real dumb, because the last 7 minutes of that game mode is just time stop.
Time stop.
You dropped and I dropped,
is
and you
fun
dropped
for
and I
everyone
dropped.
else.
Yeah, it's brutal. Stallion, you might be able to shed some light on this. In 2002 at Auckland Nats, before or after, did you guys play? Did you guys play a D&D tournament? I vaguely remember someone saying that you guys did, but I don't know if that's me just remembering history wrong, which is more likely the case. Masters in SM5, right? I could have sworn somebody had a D&D tournament one year.
We did.
We did in Sugarland in 2002.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that
was our
like,
bright spot for the week.
Yeah, that was the one thing that Sacramento did right that week was we won the D&D
because we played it so much.
Yeah, the SM5, not so good. I mean, to be fair, also the suits in Sugarland, not so good. But
some of them didn't even have phaser cords apparently.
I know, it was the weirdest fucking thing. Who knew?
What? Broken.
I've told this story before.
Yeah.
They're just guns hanging on the suit with no phaser
and
cable.
now that I'm thinking about it, I think part of the reason we played so much D&D was at the time, like a lot of some of our older member base, like at that point, I think like Sean wasn't really playing, Jeff wasn't really playing, like Cordash and Lucky weren't around. So mostly I think it was like you and me were the most experienced players, Sam. We were trying to get new people into it. And it was hard to run SM5 because if we did, basically like if one of us was 3-hit, we would basically dominate the game, and it like wasn't as fun. So we had to kind of build up to that.
It's funny how that works, isn't it? Now that I just remembered something. Last night, right? Last night, this guy went to the movies and saw Mortal Kombat. If you're looking for a movie that is like not bad, better than you would expect, go see Mortal Kombat.
But definitely don't get your hopes up. Don't think that it's good.
Yeah. If you keep them low, then the only way is up, baby. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Go see that. I don't know why that popped into my head, but you know, who knows? Who knows why anything pops into my head? Tales of a Servant, exactly right. SM5 is for scrubs. D&D or nothing.
Not scrubs.
Shrubs.
Yeah, I would very much like to play some D&D again soon. Or Space Marines, SM4.
I think that there will, just based on the chat, I think there will be some D&D that will be played in Syracuse. I just don't know if it will be part of the comp or not. I still suspect that probably the 2-day comp will be random draw SM5, but again, I'm going to talk to some other people and see what the actual interest in alternative formats is. But wanted to at least mention that there are things that can be done, and we have done in the past. It's not as though this would be something that would be brand new to laserforce. We used to run non-SM5 events, I don't know about regularly, but we did run them.
Yeah. Waste of time. No, laserforce is a waste of your time.
Wabbit season.
Wabbit season is a waste of your time. And tag. Ugh. Smalley, you heard it here first.
I would still play Wabbit season right now, as long as I wasn't going to blow out my knee. Wabbit season is not worth that.
I want to play it on ice, is what I want to do.
Of course you do.
I think I hurt my hip just from you saying that.
Oh no, my hip blew out. Pokemon was a complete waste of your time. What the heck is Pokemon? As a game mode?
Yeah, there was a Pokemon game mode. I think it still had bugs, though. I don't think the code for it was finished, or I just didn't understand it.
Is it still...
Which is also a legit possibility, because the rules were not published anywhere that I knew of.
Oh, how to play.
I do not remember this in the slightest.
I haven't even
it was
seen
definitely
it as a game mode on the
I
computer.
was working there, but after you had left. Well, because we never overlapped when we were employees. I don't think. I think you had left before I got hired.
I had most definitely been fired by then. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Again, not to put too fine a point on it. Yes, Dan had been fired by then. As I think we talked about on the D&D stream. You know, all these stories make me think Dan wasn't a very good laser tag employee.
Than had been negatively affected by his termination of laserforce.
No, actually, Than ended up being very positively impacted by his termination from
good point.
Lasers. I mean,
it was a growing experience.
I say we take off and do the entire
site. So I can't really complain that much.
Right. Was there anything else that we wanted to talk about? What the fuck is going on? Sorry.
Well, we're going to talk about what the fuck is going
on. Some awful weird thing. Yeah, was there anything else that we wanted to kind of touch on with that stuff? We were going to talk about, like, how to run them, or was it just other ones that we could run?
I mean, we can't. Basically, though, we sort of went through that in that either, you sort of trim down the field game by game, like do top half, bottom half, or you do somebody plays a game in every suit if you're running an individual comp. For other team formats, you would just probably run rounds, but the nice thing about other game formats, if you only had 4-person teams, is you can get 3 teams in there, you can get through the games a lot faster. And there are a million things you can look at. Again, on Google, as long as it's not WebMD, we'll give you all kinds of fixtures for how you can run different events and the rotations you need to run, all that kind of stuff.
Space.
Yeah, it is definitely very nice that for like all the kind of rotations and stuff like that, like there's no reinventing the wheel, because guaranteed somebody has already done something like you're trying to do, and they've very nicely put it out onto the internet for you. So, you know, beg, borrow, and steal, and don't reinvent stuff, because I've made that mistake a few times of reinventing things that already existed, and it's a horrible fucking waste of time. It just is. So yeah.
Use that time to, I don't know, watch a Twitch stream. Yeah.
Do anything else. Yeah.
Watch Than almost die in Diablo again.
Oh, so bad today.
Fuck.
No,
Fuck.
No, today's was similar but different.
I want that as my ringtone. Just be like, oh, fuck.
Wait, you use ringtones?
No, not
Your
even.
phone's not on silent all the time?
It usually is, and I miss a bunch of calls like an idiot. Right, well, in that case, was there anything else that you guys wanted to bring up? Does anyone... I was going to bring up... I'll touch on it very quickly. I was going to bring up in the pre-laserforce section of the show.
Go for it.
I saw Stallion put a post up. He was away with his family. And he might post the full story up on the Discord, but the TLDR, they broke down at sea and almost died. That's how dramatic it was. If you would like to know more, come join the Discord. see how that story ends. It's a good
Did
one.
the bike chain fall off their boat? I know that can be very dramatic.
They had to be rescued at sea by seamen and towed back to shore for several hours. It sounded freaking terrible. But yeah.
Stallion's harrowing encounter with seamen. More film at 11.
How terrible? Ask your stomach. Poorly timed.
Did it also have a negative encounter with seamen? Was it negatively impacted?
This week.
There was a warm towel. It was fine.
This week.
Sponge it up with a McNugget.
Fucking just don't cut your lips. This week on the show, on the channel, I think it's gonna be a full week of stuff. Me and Dan are gonna do some streaming this week. We have Top Shot packs to open. We might double team the Top Shots with our good friend Steve Gibb from the Bluesin Twitch channel. Terrible.
Are we just not doing phrasing anymore?
No, not even. See, back in the day, I would swing the edit hammer at all of this. It would be lopped off the end. But, you know, what are you going to do?
But no, you
do it live!
We're going to do it live and without a net, and
do it live.
Here we are.
Fucking thing sucks.
So, so again, Steve-O, this is your fault.
Happy. Wear it as a badge of honor. Yeah, so me and Dan will... hopefully we'll play this week. The numbers aren't looking too good at the moment, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now we're ready to mature.
Get your shit together. Just get all your shit and get it together. And if you need to take it down to the shit store, then take it down to the shit store. But you got to get it together.
So that Steve-O can buy it from the dump shop.
Every time you make a Rick and Morty reference, I love it.
Get your shit together.
So yeah, hopefully LaserForce Live. We'll see on that front. I'm gonna try and acquire my new Lego set early. I bought a Lego Voltron set, which I'm gonna build on stream. So hopefully, if I can get that this week, I'll build that on Wednesday. Thunderdome Thursday is back, and I think we're playing rugby. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see what happens. and then we'll be back next week with more top quality entertainment on the Resupply podcast.
Top quality.
How many we got for Tuesday? I don't know. Would you like me to add you back to the chat group? I can if you want.
All of them.
No pressure. Hopefully. I mean, I would like to play any type of laser tag at this point. Even if it means Wabbit season. We'll see.
You say that now, but you really don't mean that.
You know what? Last
What?
week, because I know that there's a Mega Zone Center around the corner from Laserforce that play their members nights on a Tuesday, and I was very close to going down there to scope it out, and then I changed my mind. Yuck! I'd rather stream. I'd rather hang out with you people on Twitch than go play Zone.
Yeah. Well, there was a Zone that was like just down the road from the last place I lived in Portland. I walked in there twice. There was nobody there either time. It was unfortunate. I was like, this is going to pale in comparison to laser tag, but I need some kind of fix. And it was not doing it.
Actually, so our resident Portlandian, Jojo, who pops in and out of stream.
Oh, yeah.
He said that one of the sites there has Gen 8 equipment, which is kind of cool. So, yeah, one of his local sites, I think he said there's 2 or 3, I can't remember.
There's at least 2 that I know of. There's one on the west side out in Beaverton, good old Beaverton, Oregon.
That's what he said, Beaverton.
And then Gresham is the other one. I've been to both. The Gresham site, in my opinion, is a little bit nicer. It's a 2-floor arena that actually has some interesting theming, and they have like super premium stuff. I think I said this in another episode that I was like, they have so much cool stuff. They have beacons, they have warbots, they have a Jade Serpent, and it's just languishing there.
Yeah.
Like, nobody was doing anything with it. I'm like, oh, you guys have like such a good system, and nobody's doing anything with it.
It's a shame. Maybe road trip to Portland. Maybe we go play out there.
I'm gonna be there most likely either right before or right after Syracuse.
Right.
Because we usually go there every year.
2020
was the first time in years we hadn't been to Portland at some point. Fucking COVID.
Jojo, hit up our boy DK and organize some sort of members night.
If we could organize something while I'm actually in Portland and could I actually play some proper lasers up there, I would be incredibly happy.
Awesome.
So,
all right. Well, there you go. If you end up watching this on demand, Jojo, I saw you in chat earlier. I don't know if you're still around, but DK will be in town later this year to school you in the ways of the Force.
Or I'll get injured, and that'll be funny too.
But yeah, so hopefully we'll play on Tuesday, and if we do, I'll look to stream. I'm loath to stream anything that's not Space Marines, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Maybe based on our content this week, though, that will help get that conversation started. So maybe you should.
Honestly, it's kind of got me. It's got my thought process turning around stuff that the owners can look to do outside of members nights, and like a regular thing that hopefully would drive some some business. And if the understanding is that night's going to be masters nights or whatever, then people have an expectation that we're not playing Space Marines. You come down, you play masters, and just play laser tag for the sake of playing laser tag.
Yep. I tried to get it going again in SAC the last year that we had it, but without buy-in from the employees, it didn't really work because the only people of us who turned up were regular Space Marines 5 players, and if we had enough for Space Marines 5, that's what people wanted to play. So it was like, oh, we can get a second night of SM5? Yeah, let's do that. Otherwise, people, if you can get buy-in, though, from the center, from the owner, from the employees, especially since they're going to be running the actual games, things like that, it can go really well.
Yeah.
So,
well, maybe that's the conversation we'll have with them on Tuesday. But that'll do us for this week. We're all talked out.
In case you can't tell.
Yeah. I'm gonna go roller skating now. I might have a play with the mobile streaming stuff later on. So if you see us go live later on, I'll be out on the streets having a skate. Come skate with me. But we'll see. We'll see how that turns out.
Nice.
For this week though, I've been Guy Next Door.
I've been Old Man DK.
And I've been Than.
Always remember to backtrack, kids. We will see you next week. Peace.
Later.